If we have a plan, even if that were to be a plan of a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, listen to your soul. Where is your soul guiding you to be? If that is for some meditation on a regular basis, may that be so. If for others to change their jobs or to get further education, for some to change how they relate to the people around them. It is not about running, it is not about going anywhere else. It's about being within. The soul can change the world, but the mind and the ego cannot. When a quantum leap is required within a culture, it isn't our stories that are no longer interesting. It isn't even what we've done or where we're going that is interesting. All of our stories, our pains, our complaints, all those become redundant. The story of I means nothing. But when a culture begins to truly become attuned to their own soul and listen to the silent language of the soul, it is then can a culture create the greatest change. People have been talking about the rising of Atlantis. People have been talking about the ending of the calendar. Well, it's not coming. It is here. It's not coming tomorrow. It's happened today. There might be a time. Is the ending of the Mayan calendar the ending? It is the ending of a reptilian culture. It is the ending in the way that we have conducted ourselves. And when people rise to the occasion to creating meaningful lives, not lives that are filled with more materialism or more powerful, but meaningful lives, it is then when there is a quantum leap that exists within our culture, where the value system is not based upon how much can we consume, but based upon the evolution of our inner journey. A culture has outgrown itself. It means we've gone through power, wars. We've gone through the dollar rising, the dollar falling. We've gone through consumerism. We've gone through drugs. A culture has gone through wars. We've gone through imprisonment. We've gone through the Holocaust. We keep trying to reinvent the word power, control, power, control. Rise power, take power away. Have control over those and make it fall. One could say that the human mind has become addicted to the rising and falling of power. It associates with its culture that rises up and falls down. But now the human mind is no longer interested in the rising up or the falling down. It is interested in getting off the cycle of falling and rising. It is interested in evolving. Being able no longer to be the rabbits that go through a rabbit hole, but not going into a quantum field of consciousness, but in a sewer. People are going to grow and create inner villages where food will be grown. People are going to look at renewable energy as they have a greater pride, where at this particular point you have no real power over your life, because every time you turn on that switch of electricity and water, you have no power, and even your mind runs endlessly and out of control. But this is changing. You are no longer wanting to let your mind to become your identity, and you are finding the soul and what it is saying. You are going to find pride in switching that light switch and understanding that this is renewable energy. You are no longer interested in going into the sewer. You're interested in going to the rabbit hole that leads you to consciousness. Human beings that were considered not valuable are going to be the most valuable ones on this earth. Those that have been in power and families for centuries are failing. The guards are changing. if we do not find the passion within our own human heart to learn to communicate differently, learn to respond differently, if we will always be a reactive being, we will not get off this treadmill of reincarnation. The next 50 years gives you the opportunity to reach liberation, to get off the cycle of karma. For some sooner, for some within the next 50 years. But within that 60 years, or 50, 30, 40 years, you are needing to become aware of what you're thinking when you drive down the road. Let it not just be garbage. Make sure that your mind is held in a holy place. If your mind is driving down the street, or you are driving down the street, and your mind is filled with garbage, you will just fill your soul with shit. When you drive down the street, you want to make sure that you are not letting your mind fill your body and soul with garbage. If you are reacting, you are taking on a truckload of everyone else's baggage. If you are responding and not reacting to everyone, then you are no longer letting their truck back up into your driveway and dump their manure on your driveway. We are a culture that needs to transfer emotions and feelings and anxieties onto each other. It's how we've learned to move ahead of the game. But when we don't react and we learn how to respond, the mere fact that when we feel threatened and say, I choose to respond, I am no longer getting someone else's truckload of manure dumped on my lawn. If my mind has become very reactive and I can say this is a great opportunity not to react but to respond and give myself the moment to just take 10 seconds so that I can let this avalanche of rage, of endless raw thoughts, ideas and emotions and feelings bypass me. If you have that development, that consciousness, that awareness, you will get off this wheel of karma in this lifetime. If you start looking at how you can be a leader. A leader is not a person who takes control. A leader is a person that says, I will be the first one that says into this family, I would like to spend this Saturday night differently. I would like to break our old traditions that don't seem to work any longer, and I would like just to have fun and play some cards. Be the one who is the leader. A leader is a person that changes the patterns of behavior. One that says, you know what, I love spending time with you, but it seems that our conversations have become filled with such confusion and sadness that the foundation of what brought us together seems to be polluted with endless disappointment and endless sadness and grief. Let us rebuild the foundation of what attracted us together. Being passive-aggressive, not speaking the truth. People all of a sudden feel that it's become their right, and they don't get by what I say. And so when I say, listen, it's got to go, it's got to change, we're needing to do something different. People all of a sudden feel that they can come from a sense of authority, and the ego, of course, disguises itself all over again and says, aha, she now believes she can change her relationships, and I can be at work, that I can have control.